Hello students, welcome to one more session of your WOC. Right. So here today the most important video for your organic chemistry and the most frequently asked video also. I think with this maximum you can solve two different problems. Let us see what are those. You can really do conversions. All the conversions are maximum covered in this. So conversions, I think will become perfect with this. Second thing, you will have clarity about all the reagents which you are using in organic chemistry. You'll be having clarity of what solvents you are using in organic chemistry. So I have covered everything in this. Everything will be listed out one after the other. So with this video, I think organic chemistry, you'll have a grip on what you're studying. Let us start. So basically my idea, how I did, I'll tell you. So here in organic chemistry, shall we go to the next page? Okay, let me go to the next page. Right. So here in organic chemistry, important thing is you'll be having, let us have alcohols topic. Right. So here in alcohols, the different combinations where it's getting converted means sometimes primary alcohol is getting converted, secondary alcohol is getting converted, they may be oxidized, they may be reduced, like that different concepts would be there. So what we will do, we will list out all the reactions which are there for you all. Along with that, we will also see what reagents you'll be using for converting water. So it took I think yesterday also I thought I'll upload, but not a problem. Let's see how to go about. So basically whenever we see alcohols, let us write alcohols here. Suppose if it is secondary alcohol, I'll mention it. Now I'm talking about primary alcohols. So remember, so whenever you take primary alcohols, first thing, let us see the reagents. Basically, my main concept is I'm concentrating on the reagents. Just see. Suppose if we have thionyl chloride, okay, SOCl2 is 1. You have PCl3 is 1. You have PCl5 is 1. So always whenever you have here, the type of compound which you get is alkyl chlorides. So alkyl chloride is the main product which you get. Suppose if you further want to convert alkyl chloride, if you are introducing magnesium and ether, right, you'll be getting the Grignard's reagent. That is what is the concept. So Grignard's reagent, if you wish, you'll be RMGX is what you get, right? So a little bit bigger I'm writing. I'll try to make it a bit smaller. Further, suppose to the same primary alcohol, if you're adding PBr3 as well as you're adding SOBr2. Okay, so this is one more reagent. What will this convert? Here chloride has given you alkyl chloride. So bromide will give you which compound? It's going to give you alkyl bromide. This is fine, students. Alkyl bromide is what you're going to understand. Right. Further, suppose if I'm introducing some more type of reagent, like in the exam paper, if you're seeing this type of reagent, or MSCl, or if you're seeing BSCl, if you're seeing, always remember they are going to give you, or it's going to convert into alkyl sulfonate, right? So alkyl sulfonate is a compound which is going to form from this alkyl sulfonate. So here, if you take chloride, you'll get alkyl chloride. If you take bromide, you'll be getting alkyl bromide. If you take TSCl or MSCl, you will be getting alkyl sulfonate. This is clear. Now further, little bit further we will go. The same thing, just see. Now further, if I take the same primary alcohol, I'm still talking about primary alcohols only. Still I have not come to secondary alcohols. So primary alcohols, if I take, suppose if I introduce Grignard's reagent RMGX to this, and also that is the organometallic compounds, right? This is organometallic compound, this is organolithium compound. What are you going to get? You're going to get hydrocarbons. Remember that. So, and one more type also, R2CuLi. These are three things which will get converted to hydrocarbons. Now, further, suppose if I take the primary alcohol, if I am going to further introduce RMGX, the same thing, the same RMGX again, and I'm going to introduce lithium, organolithium compound. I can also prepare secondary alcohols from this. That's fine. Okay. Now further, if I take about primary alcohols, I'm going to use an oxidizing agent, chromium trioxide in the presence of pyridine. This is important. Whenever you're taking the oxidizing agent, primary alcohols are oxidized to which one? Aldehydes. Okay, is clear, students? Yes. Now further, here if I go to the next page, what else is there? Right. So again, I'm going to take primary alcohols. Again, I've listed out some more for you all. Right? Suppose if you're taking PCC, pyridinium chlorochromate, right? Again, In this also, further you have chromium trioxide in the presence of pyridine. Whenever you see PCC, pyridinium chlorochromate, you are going to form aldehyde. It's nothing but oxidizing agent only, isn't it? So primary alcohols and oxidation gives aldehydes. This is fine. Further, if I take one more oxidizing agent, that is sodium chromate, Na2Cr07. Sodium chromate, if I take, it's getting oxidized to acid. See the difference. If you're taking this one, you're going to get the aldehyde. If you're taking the sodium chromate, you'll be getting acids. That's fine. Okay. Still, do we have primary acids? Just see. Now, suppose if I take only chromium trioxide and you have water and H3O plus, right? So this also gets oxidized to acid. So in the exam, remember these two combinations. Both are oxidizing agent. They'll get oxidized to acids only. Suppose if you have one more combination, that is potassium permanganate. This is also one more oxidizing agent. What do you get? It gets converted to acids. This is all. This is a complete thing about primary alcohols. Done. Now we will go to secondary alcohols, right? Suppose when I go to secondary alcohols, and remember same thing again. Let us write secondary alcohols where you have one in this way, two alkyl groups, if I have to speak, and you have OH group and one hydrogen. So secondary alcohol. In secondary alcohol, what are the combinations? Suppose if you are seeing oxidizing agents like chromium trioxide or pyridine, secondary alcohols are always oxidized to ketones. That is what you need to remember. Correct? Yes. Now, further, I am going to introduce one more oxidizing agent, sodium chromate or dichromate, sorry. Then in the presence of acidic medium. So again I said ketones. So what is the concept here? Secondary alcohols are always oxidized to ketones. Suppose if they ask you to convert secondary alcohols to alkenes, what should you introduce? You need to introduce phosphoric acid and you need to heat it. This is what is the concept. Further, secondary alcohols, if I take 2-3 more reactions, let us see. I think this is what is important. Earlier it was aldehydes, primary alcohols. Now with the secondary alcohols, it is ketones. This is fine. Now, further if I have to take same secondary alcohols, if I am taking, and further I am introducing PCC. So pyridinium chlorochromate and H2CrO4. So H2CrO4, the chromic acid which is there, almost again they're getting converted to ketones. Am I clear about this? Yes. So this is the complete analysis of the primary and secondary alcohols. More than this, there are no reagents. With this, I can understand primary alcohols, they form aldehydes. Secondary alcohols, they convert into ketones. That's fine, right? So after alcohols, let us go to the next concept, that is your benzene ring. So this is very easy topic which you have. Let us see. Okay, let us come and see what reagents are there. So here, let us put the heading as benzene. So this is grade 11th syllabus. So benzene, all the combinations will combine both the 11th and 12th and C. So basically, benzene being an aromatic compound, right? It undergoes electrophilic aromatic substitution reactions. Yes. So here, first of all, if I am using metals like platinum, palladium or nickel, right? Metals reducing agents, what does it do? It's going to add hydrogen and it's going to form a cyclo compound. This is one. And remaining all are easy, which you have studied in the aromatic substitution reactions. Suppose you have chlorine and you have FeCl3 in the presence of AlCl3, the Lewis acid. Okay, let me erase that and write again. Little bit it's clumsy here. Okay, so we very well know if I take here, what am I going to introduce? Little thicker pen, let me take. Okay. So here, chlorine, along with that, iron chloride as well as anhydrous AlCl3. Anhydrous AlCl3 if we take, so we very well know we get chlorobenzene, correct? This is the quite common thing. Same thing. If I take here Br instead of chlorine, if I'm going to introduce bromine, and instead of FeCl3, I'm introducing FeBr3 or AlBr3. Now, for chlorine, you are taking AlCl3. For bromine, you are taking AlBr3. You're going to get bromo, right? Further, you also have reactions like Friedel-Crafts alkylation, Friedel-Crafts acylation reactions. Same thing. So I'll just write now in this way instead of writing the structures, right? Now benzene, when I'm introducing, again same thing, I'm introducing an alkyl group, that is HCl. Along with that, what do you require? You require a Lewis acid, that's compulsory. What do you get? You're going to get the alkyl group, that is alkyl benzene, isn't it? This is the R group. Suppose if you're introducing an acyl group in this way, in the presence of anhydrous AlCl3, what do you get? You're going to get an acyl group, COCH3. This is fine. This is also clear. Suppose if you're taking benzene, if you're introducing HNO3, sulfuric acid, that is a nitrating mixture, you know we get nitrobenzene. This is also clear. Suppose if I'm introducing sulfuric acid and the electrophile here is what? SO3H, correct? The electrophile is SO3H. What do you get? Benzene sulfonic acid. This is quite common reaction, but altogether one way, right? Now, further, if I have to convert this NO2 to further thing, what do? Here you're going to take SN by HCl, reducing agent. So oxygen is out and hydrogen is added to that. You'll be getting nitro group 2, amine group or aniline. This is fine? Yes, this is clear. Now further, if I have to convert aniline to BDC, I am going to introduce nitrous acid in terms of HCl, and what do I get? I get BDC, benzene diazonium chloride. This is what is the understanding. This is the sequence. This is quite commonly asked question. Nitro to amine, amine to BDC. Right. Now we have got this BDC. Let us take further. What can we how can we convert BDC? So further, if I take in the next page, let us see your BDC, the benzene diazonium chloride, N2Cl part, N2Cl, N2Cl, BDC or benzene diazonium chloride. We very well know this has further means you can just convert. Suppose if I'm introducing Ki and I'm heating it, potassium iodide and heating it, it's going to form iodobenzene. It's going to form iodobenzene. This is fine. Suppose the same thing if you are introducing copper chloride, it's going to form chlorobenzene. Same thing if you are introducing copper bromide, it's going to form bromobenzene. This is also easy only. If you are introducing CuCN, I get cyanobenzene. This is also easy, right? If I have to convert into phenol, I need to use water hydrolysis, then I get phenol. So this is the complete reaction of BDC. Just see, everything is covered in that clearly. So benzene I understood, alcohol I understood, benzene diazonium chloride also I have understood. Yes, students? Yes. Now, let us come and see acid conversions. All the acid conversions are listed here. Just see. So whenever I take acids, so acid is a group, let us see all the reagents. Suppose if you are taking acid, just see, if I am introducing thionyl chloride, SOCl2, 1, PCl3, 1, PCl5, 1, all the three. They'll get converted to which one? Acyl chlorides. So RCOCl is what they're going to get converted. Now further, if I take this acyl chloride and I introduce RMgX, what will I get? I'll be getting tertiary alcohols. Tertiary alcohols. Remember that. Now, suppose if I am taking the same acyl chloride and I am introducing lithium compounds like this RCuLi, what will I get? I'll get ketones. Remember that. Now, same acid if I take and if I am introducing here thionyl chloride, now thionyl bromide, SOBr2 in the presence of PBr3. What do I get? Here I got acyl chloride. Now I'll get acyl bromide, RCOBr, acyl bromide. Here it is acyl chloride, that is RCOCl. Correct? Yes. Now further, let us take acids. To the same acid, suppose I am introducing Grignard's reagent, organometallic compound or organolithium compounds, RLi. What do I get? I'll be converting into RH. Remember, this is fine. Okay, let us further see. Suppose if the same acid, if you are taking, and you are introducing a reducing agent like lithium aluminum hydride, and hydrolysis, you will always get primary alcohols. Remember, so acids, On reduction gives primary alcohols. It's fine. Yes. So this is your acid concept. Now let's see next alkynes concept. So first of suppose in the exam if you are given alkynes. Okay, let me pick some more pages. I need some more pages for this. Right, students. So till now we have seen what different types of conversions. We have seen alcohols. We have seen what do you say, acids. We have seen benzene. We have seen BDC. Right now today, like the next topic which we are going to pick up. Let me write little bit below. Okay, let me take this eraser and erase it. Okay. So next type which will be useful for you all, I felt, is nitriles. So nitriles is quite common question, which is us, that is RC triple bond N, right? We will see what it can get converted into. So when I take nitriles, basically suppose if you're introducing the Grignard's reagent RMGX, organometallic compound, or RLI, that is organolithium compound, nitriles are getting converted to ketones. Remember this. Okay, right. Now next thing, if this is also the bulkier reducing agent, Dibal. If I take Dibal and then allow it to undergo hydrolysis, what does it do? Nitriles are getting converted to aldehydes. Remember, suppose I'm using one more reducing agent, that is lithium aluminium hydride. Nitriles getting converted to amines. This is clear? Yes. Suppose, let me draw one line here. It's a weird line, not a problem, right? Suppose if I take nitriles and I'm introducing palladium, so hydrogenation, what will happen? This will get converted into R. Here there is a cleavage of the bond. This two hydrogens add here. Here also two hydrogens add, and let me erase that part. It will not confuse you. So what happens? R takes. Let me pick the pen again. Okay. So two hydrogens add R CH2 NH2. What is this? This is nothing but primary amine. So in the presence of hydrogen, palladium catalyst, nitriles are getting converted to primary amines. Now further, suppose if I take an aromatic amine, like if I take here in this case aromatic, not amine, aromatic nitrile CN. Here same thing, if I introduce palladium and the presence of means hydrogen, adding hydrogen or the reduction process, what do you get? Primary aromatic amine. This is primary aliphatic amine. This is primary aromatic amine. This is clear. Primary aromatic amine. This is also fine. So this is about the basic nitriles which you need to remember. Now let us go to the next page and start with which one? Esters. So here let us see what are the maximum. Okay, let me erase that again. Okay, right. So if I take with the esters, ester group, let us see what conversions are possible and what are the reagents with that. So R C double bond O O R. This is a ester. Again, same thing. Suppose if you are introducing Grignard's reagent or organolithium compound. See, in everything I have given first Grignard's reagent only. It's going to convert into tertiary alcohols. So how does tertiary alcohols look? OH, R, your R and R, tertiary alcohols. Suppose if you are using Dibal here and you're doing hydrolysis, it gets converted to aldehydes. But important thing is whenever you're using Dibal, a lower temperature of 70 degrees centigrade is used. Very low temperature it does. Suppose if I'm introducing to esters lithium aluminium hydride and further hydrolysis, I'll be getting alcohols, primary alcohols. So this is the maximum thing which I did for esters. Now let us come and see in the next page, that is nothing but ketones. So let us see what combinations, what are the reagents and what it is getting converted to. So always remember whenever you take a ketone, again I'm using the same RMGX here and I'm using organolithium compound. Ketones are getting converted to tertiary alcohols on addition. Right? Now, see this name reaction. If I'm using hydrazine What is this reaction? This is nothing but Wolff-Kishner reaction, isn't it? So in Wolff-Kishner reaction, what do you get? You always get alkanes. Now, the same ketone if I take and if I'm introducing zinc amalgam in HCl, that is your Clemmensen reduction, correct? So in Clemmensen reduction, what are you going to prepare? Just see. So here, one important thing, students, name reactions, all the name reactions I have done an video where the mechanisms are also done, mechanisms are also given. Most of the students were asking, ma'am, where is this, ma'am, name reaction and everything. So all the name reactions along with the mechanisms I have done and kept in one playlist. You can watch that, right? So let us come back. So in amalgam, zinc amalgam, what is this? As I said, it is Clemmensen's reduction. So basically in Clemmensen's reduction, what you get? It's a reduction of either ketones, correct? So it is again forming alkenes, right? So the same thing I have written together, right? So here, suppose it's the same ketones I am introducing Dibal. Again, sorry, the line is not proper. Same ketones, what am I introducing? I'm introducing Dibal, a bulkier reducing agent, and further hydrolysis, what do I get? I get secondary alcohols. This is one information about ketones done. So let us do now with let us see the next part. Ketones are over. Let us check once. Ketones are over in this page, done. Esters are over in this page, done. Nitriles over in this page, done. Acid is done in this page, done. Okay, then we have done BDC, then we have done benzene, then we have done again benzene, then we have done alcohols. Now let us come and start with the next thing, that is aldehydes. Let us just shift. I was just checking whether I did aldehydes or not. So let us take the page, next page, esters, then ketones. Now we'll be doing aldehydes. So aldehydes, again, let us see the different conversions. Again, I'm going to take aldehyde and again I'm introducing the Grignard's reagent RMGX as well as organolithium compounds RLI. What do we get? We are going to get secondary alcohols. Remember that. Suppose if I'm introducing reducing agent like lithium aluminum hydride, I'm introducing Dibal. If I'm introducing sodium borohydride, all are reducing agent. What do I get? I get alcohols. Right? Now, let us make one more line here. Just see. Same aldehyde if I'm introducing silver nitrate and ammonia. What do I get? I get acids, carboxylic acids. And same aldehyde, if I use potassium cyanide, what do I get? I get cyanohydrins, addition of cyano group. Now, here Dibal I wrote, no, what is this? This is primary alcohol. But remember, let me write a separate step here. I'll erase here. Here you will be getting primary alcohol when you further hydrolyzes. This is what is important. So what is that? Aldehydes when you take Dibal, okay, and you further hydrolyze it, then you are going to get primary alcohols. This is what is important. Suppose if I take same aldehyde, I'm introducing oxidizing agent like KMnO4, they get converted to acids. This is fine, students. This is clear, right? So we have converted or done all the different conversions, what aldehydes can do, what acids can do. Now we will go to the next topic, that is alkyl halides. So let us write alkyl halides. So alkyl halides. So in alkyl halides, that is your RX. This is simple. Here alkyl halides, I'll just give you two important things. That is RX when I introduce or when we do the SN1 mechanism. Here the solvents which I'm going to use is HNO3 in the presence of water. They get converted to alcohols. right? Same alkyl halides, if I use the same reagent, that is silver nitrate, and I introduce NaOH, what do I get? I get ethers. Remember this, right? Okay. Now alkyl halides are over, benzene is over, and BDC is also over. Correct? So let us come and see some more examples of the different reagents which we have. Right, students, let us move this window above and start. After aldehydes, conversions, ketones, nitriles, benzene, BDC, alkyl halides, and everything, let us come to the next important category, that is different types of catalyst, reagents, and solvents. So here the catalyst which I am going to introduce is, okay, let me take the pen. So the catalyst which I'm going to introduce is Ziegler-Natta catalyst. Ziegler-Natta catalyst. So here, let us see what are its applications. So basically, Ziegler-Natta catalyst, what is it? It is nothing but triethyl aluminium along with titanium chloride. That is Ziegler-Natta catalyst. Now here I'm going to use this catalyst whenever there is polymerization reaction. So you are going to do the polymerization of alkenes. So here alkenes polymerization, I'll be taking it. What is the condition? It can be done at low temperature and pressure. This is the condition. So low temperature and pressure, low temperature, low pressure. This is what is the condition. Right. Now see here. I have taken an alkene. What is it getting converted? It is getting polymerized to propylene, acetylene, means alkenes to alkynes. Here also alkenes to, means further what happened, there is a cleavage of the bond here. The chain is extending, see here. It's going to extend and further connect more and more, means it's going to polymerize or form more number of units. So this is the specialty of Ziegler-Natta catalyst. Just see, converting alkenes to acetylenes, right? Or wherever there is double bond, there is a cleavage and there is extension of bond on either side. This is fine. Right, the next thing, let us come and see the next variety of catalyst. This is nothing but Wilkinson's catalyst. So let us write that Wilkinson's catalyst. Where am I using this Wilkinson's catalyst? So this is the Wilkinson's catalyst which is given here. That is triphenyl phosphine, and the compound is given here. For me, important thing is I can use Wilkinson's catalyst when there are, means first of all requirement is you should have geometrical isomers. This is the thing. So you take the geometrical isomers. What are you going to do? You are going to do to this geometrical isomers hydrogenation. You're going to add hydrogen. Okay, now what is the other requirement? This hydrogenation, when you do, it should have an optically inactive ligand. So it should not repeat the plain polarized, right? It should have optically inactive ligand. If this is the condition, only hydrogenation, optically inactive ligand. Only this, at this position only, the hydrogenation or addition will happen. After hydrogenation addition, what product will I get? I'll be getting two products, that is a mixture. One, I'll be getting a meso compound, and I'll be getting a mixture of enantiomers. Remember this. So whenever you see this particular catalyst, this is what you will be getting. You can tick the option as it will give meso compounds, and or not, or, and it may give meso or a mixture of enantiomers. This is fine. Okay, this is clear. The Wilkinson's catalyst is clear to me. Next thing. Now I'm going to take you to a reagent, that is sodium borohydride. Okay, very nice. So what is the specialty of sodium borohydride? It is a preferred reagent, very important preferred reagent for which one? For carbonyl compounds. So whenever you see carbon preferred reagent for carbonyl compounds, what it is going to do? It is acting as a reducing agent, that is, it helps in reduction. So reduction of which one? Reduction of carbonyl compound, right? Reduction of carbonyl groups, carbonyl compound. Now see here, carbonyl compound, esters I have taken, right? So here this all functional group, it remains same, nothing will change. But because it is a reducing agent, it's going to add hydrogen at this part. See here, one hydrogen here, one more hydrogen here. The second case, this whole group, sorry, let me erase that. This whole group remains same, but wherever there is carbonyl group, here, it's going to add hydrogen. Third example also, wherever there is carbonyl group, it adds hydrogen. Fourth example also, wherever there is carbonyl group, okay, now this is not the carbonyl group, this one, here is the aldehyde carbonyl group, there it will add hydrogen. Here in this case, carbonyl group is here, hydrogen is added. Means wherever you have carbonyl, there only reduction will happen. Same thing, carbonyl group, you will have further addition of hydrogen. Now, let us see some more examples. If I go to the next page, sodium borohydride as a reducing agent, as I said, wherever you have carbonyl group, there you need to add hydrogen. Same thing. And HCl is out. Here also, benzaldehyde, where is the carbonyl group? This is the carbonyl group, your addition of hydrogen. So reduction happens only in the carbonyl group part. That's fine. Okay, that is about the sodium borohydride. Next, the next type of this one reagent is sodamide. Sodamide, or separately if you write sodium amide. Sodium amide. Okay, right. So here sodamide or sodium amide, that is NaNH2. What is its role? Basically, it is going to yield anions. Anions is what is the concept. Now, most important, it's going to act as nucleophile. Electron rich species, it is going to act as nucleophile, right? Here, what is it doing? Here, mainly wherever there are ethers, that is what you need to remember. Ethers are getting converted to the sodium methoxides and alkenes. This is most important. This is where you need to remember. So, sodamide, whenever is there, this is the reaction converting, or it acts on ethers or halo ethers. In basic concept is it's going to convert ethers to olefins. First thing, it's going to convert halo ethers to acetylene. This is the main function of sodium amide. That's fine. Next thing, let us come and see some more. Here again same thing, just see here. This is an ether, correct? It's getting converted to acetylate. That is what we said, isn't it? In the earlier case. So it converts ethers to olefins. Olefins. That's fine? Yes. So next thing. Here we are going to see more and more examples. Alkylation of acids to ketones, acids and ketones. So acids we are taking. Here we are going to take acylation with NaNO2. Just see the final thing. When I take the potassium salts, it is getting converted to acids. Means ethers can be alkylated using NaNH2. So acids can be alkylated using NaNH2. Ketones and nitriles can be acylated. Ketones and nitriles can be acylated using NH2. But when you see the final product, when you do the alkylation, see here, you're getting acids. When you're doing acylation, you will be getting the ketones. When you do acylation, you also get, you will be getting ketones, right? Yes. So this is your NaNH2, more reactions. Again, I'm going to take an ester. What did I say? It's acting as a nucleophile. What is it doing? It is getting, means further if you take this compound, you'll be getting ethyl acetoacetate. Here one more example is there, converting nitriles to esters. So these are all the combinations of our sodium amide. So whenever you see sodium amide, you need to remember these conversions. Next thing. Now we are going to discuss about selenium dioxide. So what is the speciality or the importance of selenium dioxide? It is an important oxidizing agent. Remember that. Where it is used, it is specifically used, let us write that, it is right. So basically it is specifically used where oxidation used for specifically used for oxidation of methylene as well as methylene and methyl groups. Remember, so both oxidations, methylene as well as methyl groups oxidation, it's used. See here, activated ring methylene groups are oxidized to carbonyl compounds. So wherever this is there, it will add oxygen to that. Right. Next thing, more examples. So aldehydes to, you're converting into glyoxyls, ketones to glyoxyls, phenones to glyoxyls. So in all the three cases when you take, you just see it has added oxygen. See here. Wherever there is active methylene group, this is your active methylene group, there it's going to add oxygen. So active methylene group, here just see, oh, active methylene group it has picked up. This is active methylene group, it has added. So same is the case with these two also. So selenium dioxide, it acts only as oxidation for active methylene group, methyl as well as methylene group. The next category of reagent which I am going to discuss is lithium aluminum hydride. So what is the speciality? It is basically a reducing agent. Understood? It is specifically used for reduction of carbonyl compounds. So reduction of carbonyl compounds, wherever there is reduction of carbonyl groups, we'll be using lithium aluminum hydride. Right? So here, just see, acids are reduced to alcohols. Acids to alcohols. I have taken an amino acid also here. Acidic in nature. Adenine to alcohols. Acid chlorides to alcohols. Acid anhydrides to alcohols. Important thing, it is acting as a reducing agent and adding hydrogen. Removing this oxygen and adding hydrogen. Right. The next thing. Further, if I take the next reagent which we are going to discuss is hydrogen peroxide. So again, hydrogen peroxide is an oxidizing agent. So this hydrogen peroxide, same thing, it adds oxygen. See here, oxygen. It's going to convert nitriles to amides. Where is it adding oxygen? Here. Right? Now, next. Next type of reagent which we are going to learn is NBS, that is N-bromosuccinamide. What does it do? As the name suggests, wherever you need to add succinamide, wherever you need to add bromine, this NBS is used. Now let us take this ester. So I am using an NBS. Just see, wherever you have, an important thing is allylic. Wherever you have allylic group, this is what is used. I can use NBS at two different positions. Where I can use, wherever there is allylic as well as benzylic compound, I can add bromine. This is what you need to remember. Means basically allylic and benzylic positions. Now this is allylic position, correct? I have added bromine. See here. Let us take the next example. Let us see there is benzylic also. See here. Here also. So wherever there is allylic as well as benzylic, as I said, we'll be adding bromine to that. That is the speciality of NBS. Now in this case, let us take, see here, this is the allylic position. So you're going to add bromine to this. This is fine, right? So let us come to the next one. The next type of reagent is boron trifluoride. So what is the speciality? It acts as a Lewis acid. It is a Lewis acid basically. And I can use it only in organic reactions. Why? It has an electron deficient atom. So electron deficient atom. Correct? Now just see. Here, acylation of ketones. So I'm taking acetic anhydride. So basically, acetic anhydride is something like this: CH3CO, O, CO, CH3. There is a cleavage of the bond here. Now you are taking, means you are acyling group. You take adding the acyl group to the ketones. So the same compound CH3, CO, CO, and the remaining acetic anhydride, whatever is there, got added here, and CH, so COOH comes out. So what is understanding? Whenever you take a ketone with acetic anhydride and BF3, you are going to get 1,3 diketones. That is the concept, right? So let us take the next one. Further, if I take BF3, again the same thing. We are taking acids. This is as I said, BF3 catalyzes the formation of esters. What are we doing? We are from acid, we are converting into ester. How are we doing this? We are going to add everywhere. See, earlier case also you have added a chain. Here also you are adding an alkyl group. So that will expand the compound. So same is the case in everything. Here you are adding an alkene. It's expanding the carbon chain. Here also you are adding acyl chloride, that is expanding the carbon chain. Here also same thing. Right. So let us go with the next example of BF3. Okay, this is the same slide. Right. So next thing is anhydrous AlCl3, one more electron deficient compound which acts as a Lewis acid. So here I've already shown you I can convert benzene to alkyl benzene, benzene to acyl benzene, benzene to, this is important reaction with phosgene. So here, first thing you need to remember, anhydrous AlCl3, aryl halides, alkyl arenes, acyl halides. So this is alkyl arene. So what it can get converted into? It can get converted to aryl halides, one concept with AlCl3. It can get converted to aryl ketones, one concept. It can get converted into alkyl arenes, one more concept. So using anhydrous AlCl3. Let's see the next one. Here also, this is called freeze reaction, where we are converting, means the same Lewis acid. I'm converting esters, the phenyl esters. These are called phenyl esters, Phenyl esters, I'm converting into orthohydroxyketones and parahydroxyketones. This is your NCRT reaction, where your benzene is getting converted to benzaldehyde. Okay, right. So next one. Further, to convert benzene to benzamide also, I can use anhydrous AlCl3. This phosgene reaction is very important, converting benzene to benzoic acid. Right. So the next type of reagent is HBF4. So basically to convert BDC, this is your BDC. If you want fluorobenzene and further you want to convert it to benzene, only reagent you use is HBF4. Suppose if it is chlorine, we'll be using CuCl, bromines UBr, but for fluorine, you need to compulsory use HBF4, where BDC is getting converted to benzene. But the concept is, in between, you're going to get C6H5. This is benzene diazonium borofluoride. This is the intermediate. Fine. Now, next thing, let us see the next one. Lithium aluminum hydride. So, lithium aluminum hydride, as we have said, it is again a reducing agent, right? I'll be using lithium aluminum hydride specifically only for carbonyl compounds. So for reduction of carbonyl compounds, reduction means addition of hydrogen or removal of removal of oxygen. So I'll be doing that part using lithium aluminum hydride. So see here, where is the carbonyl group? This is the carbonyl group, correct? I said it is specifically used for carbonyl group. I'll be adding hydrogen. See here, one hydrogen here, one more hydrogen. Again here also same thing. One hydrogen, one more, same aldehyde group. One hydrogen here, one more hydrogen here. Here, this is a carbonyl group. I'll be adding one hydrogen, one more hydrogen. In this case, where is the carbonyl group? The carbonyl group is here in this case, correct? Right. So what will it do? We'll add one hydrogen here, one hydrogen here. That's over. So lithium aluminum hydride, being a reducing agent, it adds hydrogen and or it removes oxygen. That's fine. Further, let us take the next catalyst, nickel. Basically, we call it as Rani nickel also. It is whenever you see nickel in the reaction, only thing you need to remember is it's going to add hydrogen. This is what is the concept. In this case, it has added hydrogen, benzene to cyclohexane. This is again a 10th class reaction. You have taken alkenes, you've added nickel. This hydrogen is added, basically the bond is broken here and you get two hydrogens added. Further, if you are taking an alkyne, first this bond is broken. Let me pull this a little bit down. This bond is broken and it forms alkenes. Then, right, now let us see the next part about your nickel, that is addition of hydrogen. So here, first important thing, we have discussed all the important reagents, that is like Wilkinson catalyst, Ziegler-Natta catalyst. We have seen lithium aluminum hydride, sodium borohydride, anhydrous AlCl3, hydrogen peroxide, like that. All the reagents are classified. Now, there are certain things which you need to remember. Let's see the next sort of conversions or the next set of conversions. So, students, let's come and start the next part. Till now, you have seen different types of reagents. We have seen different catalysts. Now, let us see certain things which you will frequently come across. What are those? You will be asked, like, given bromine, and you'll be given chlorine also, so which have good electrophiles. So whenever there is bromine, remember you can convert alkenes to vicinal dibromides. Means you'll be adding bromine, breaking the double bond. This is one. Same thing here also, you can convert alkenes to vicinal dichlorides. Means you'll be adding chlorine around the double bond. This is the thing. The same is the case with alkynes also. Alkynes also I can convert into vicinal dibromides. Further, I can use bromine to convert arenes to aryl bromides. This is also one option which you can use. I can also convert amides to amines. So why did I give all these options? Basically, these options, whenever you have, if they give you bromine, this is what is the answer for all the additions of bromine. Now, using chlorine, I can convert arenes, that is benzene, to chloro derivatives or chloroarenes. Means I can convert it to chlorobenzene. That is anhydrous AlCl3 we use, you remember? Yes. Now I can convert alkynes to alkyl chlorides. Same thing like this. Let me erase this. Alkynes to alkyl chlorides. Alkyl chlorides. This is fine? Yes. Now, let us see certain reactions where you will be observing or you will be seeing this particular reagent, FeCl3 or FeBr3. Correct? So, both, what is the importance or what is the specialty? Both are Lewis acids. They have an electron deficient atom. Both are Lewis acids. So what are they going to do? See, I can convert using these. I can convert benzene to aryl halides or aryl chlorides. Because it is chloride, I can convert to aryl chloride. Here, same thing, I'll be converting to aryl bromide because there is bromine. I can convert arenes to aryl ketones. Aryl ketones, here also same thing. I can also convert arenes to alkyl arenes. This is also one more option. Alkyl arenes. This is also one more option. Right? Fine. So one important thing we'll be seeing with iron next. So whenever you have to convert nitro groups, that means iron as an element, I can use it for converting nitro groups to primary amine groups in the presence of iron. This is what you need to remember. Suppose if I take Grignard's reagent, means I'm just summarizing this. If you take Grignard's reagent, what can we do? I can, using Grignard's reagent, I can convert aldehydes to secondary alcohols. I can convert ketones to tertiary alcohols. I can convert esters to tertiary alcohols. I can convert acyl chlorides to tertiary alcohols. Remember this. Suppose if I have Dibal with me, Dibal is given to me, a bulkier reducing agent. I just have Dibal given in the question. Always remember, it is a strong, bulky reducing agent. So what does it do? It does a reducing agent helps in reduction. What? Esters are reduced to your aldehydes. Ketones to secondary alcohols. Aldehydes to primary alcohols. Nitriles to aldehydes. Acyl halides to aldehydes. Remember this, acyl halides to aldehydes. This is clear, students? Yes. Now, suppose if you have your hydrogen, okay? Hydrogen is given to you in the presence of different metal catalysts. So let us see here the combinations. Suppose hydrogen is given on the arrow and alkenes are given to you, and you have a metal catalyst like palladium. Alkenes are getting converted to alkanes because you are adding hydrogen. If you are having alkynes, what catalyst you'll be using? You'll be using Lindlar's catalyst. Alkynes are converted to alkenes. So this is the order. If I have a nitro group given to me and hydrogen is given in the arrow like this, nitro are getting converted to primary amines. Remember this. Suppose if you have, let us go to the next page. If you have nitriles given to you and you have hydrogen and palladium, they get converted to primary amines. Remember that. And next important, if you have imines and you have hydrogen as well as palladium, imines are getting converted to amines. Last thing, when you have arenes or the benzene given to you, suppose hydrogen is given and palladium, arenes get converted to cycloalkanes. Right? Right. So next thing, if you have mercuric sulfate, HgSO4 is given to you. Again, HgSO4 is a Lewis acid and it converts alkynes to ketones. The last topic which we are going to take, suppose if you have HI, hydroiodic acid, the strongest acid, isn't it? Compared to all acid is a strong acid. What are the possibilities? What does it do? It's going to add hydrogen and iodine to multiple bonds. Wherever there are unsaturated compounds, multiple bonds, it's going to add hydrogen and oxygen. So remember here, alkenes, they get converted to alkyl iodides. Alcohols are getting converted to same alkyl iodides because I'm adding hydrogen as well as alkyl group. Means to the alkene only I'm adding hydrogen as well as iodide group. Suppose if I'm taking alkynes, I'll be converting into gem diiodides. Means I at geminal position I'll be adding iodine group. So this is what are the different reagents, students. I have given a list of reagents under which you can completely understand all the conversions of the NCERT textbook are covered under this. All the reagents, let us once analyze. So I have completed all the conversions with possible conversions. I have given you all the list of reagents where you can use. I've also given you certain solvents where you can use. I've also given you information about catalysts. Correct? So all these are included in this video. So from my side, thank you so much for watching. And this is your Vani ma'am. Next thing, let me know. Watch this video completely. You prepare your own notes and always be happy. Thank you so much. Signing off here.